Hey,
Jen.
how are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing well. It's really hot where I'm at, so still the same. Everything's the same. It's always been hot.
I literally have a fan under the desk that's like blowing on my legs. So that's how it's hot here too. Hot and humid.
Yeah. At least it's not Florida.
Right. Yeah, I'm back in Wisconsin for a little while,
Yeah.
but it's I think it feels like as hot as Florida.
Wow. No, Wisconsin, it gets really cold too, right?
That's why we left.
That's
Yeah.
not fair. It's not fair that it gets cold and it gets hot. It should be one or the other.
It gets like so cold that the tires will freeze to the ground and you have to like sometimes rock your car back and forth so that you don't hurt the tires. It doesn't
Real.
happen that often, but it's like, yeah, -40, Fahrenheit. It's just ridiculously cold. So
Oh my
every
God.
time we hit that, like February, I'm gone. I'm like, we were looking on, Zillow to find homes. And so last year we're like, let's do it finally. And like,
Yeah. I lived in Boston for college, and it got so cold. It'd be -20 with wind chill, which is like -20 Celsius as well with
yeah.
wind chill. But then it would get to like the 90s. You get like 95, which I think is like 35 Celsius. And I'm like, this isn't fair. We can't have like the heat plus the cold. You got to choose one. So then I just chose the heat.
Well, yeah, you kind of have the moderate, so that's nice. My closet has fewer clothes in it in Florida, but I left all the good big jackets and stuff up here.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
So
you
when
don't
we
need
get,
it.
but we're kind of like young snowbirds. It's fun. So what do we have in store for today?
So today we're talking all about the KPI Designer, which is going to be exciting. I think we both have some cool things to show. We'd love to hear any tips, tricks, or suggestions the audience has as well. And we'd like to hear what you guys use it for too. So let us know if you have anything cool that you guys want to come on and show us.
Yeah, we'll definitely throughout this maybe take some points where we stop and say, what should we do next? I definitely want to get to that area. And we have a few things, of course, to show, but we can take it in some different ways. So definitely want some feedback. When you were starting to look at Vizlib, Jane, and you were using Qlik, what was your favorite visualization before KPI Designer? Before you knew what this thing could do?
Okay. So like I think I always say it's very controversial, but I've always liked the scatter plot. I think when it's done well, there's like specific use cases where it can it's very informative. It can blow other things out the water. So I've always liked the scatter plot, but it has to be done well. I know that sometimes it can get very confusing.
Okay.
You're like, what is this for? What about
I'm
you?
just glad you didn't say pie chart. I don't know. That's like a thing. And when I was first using data, like I always thought and legitimately thought this was a requirement. Whenever I was going to deliver a presentation, I had to put a pie chart in it so that it was a report, like it had some data in it. And then, yeah, very quickly later on, they're like, you shouldn't use that visualization. And so I've learned the hard way over the years, like it's good for some appropriate things. We got people saying, ooh, Sankey. That's definitely one of my favorite ones. The table. No, everybody has a table in their data, but I think the KPI Designer is by far my favorite one. And that's unfair to every other visualization because I think people will see you can include any type of visualization in it. So it's kind of like a catch-all.
Yeah.
So it's not fair. I guess it's not a visualization itself. It's really a whole toolbox. Yeah, but I want to take people through a little bit of our inspiration and things like that. But before, do you have orange juice today? What are you drinking?
Yes, I do. You know, I love orange juice.
And it always comes through like, the Venn diagram from Liren. Oh, hi. Nice. I decided to go a little bit off script. I have a Reed's extra ginger beer, extra gingery ginger beer. It's non-alcoholic, but some people think ginger beer is alcoholic.
What is ginger beer?
It's like really strong ginger ale.
Oh, and they call it ginger beer. Interesting.
It's got a kick to it. Oh, yeah, that one's
powerful.
Perk me up.
The bar chart. Now it's the KPI Designer. Layers are just awesome. I agree.
There we go. Cool. We'll keep coming back to that. because maybe there's some things that we don't yet have in the KPI designer.
Mm-hmm.
We got good feedback on the last Appy Hour, right? On Viz tips. We kind
Yeah.
of often tried some stuff. So maybe we'll get to do that today.
Mm-hmm. I do have a really fun announcement. Well, we do have a fun announcement. So we've got this thing called the Sweetest App Challenge. Everyone who's on, we're happy to share. We've got this challenge going on. We're providing you guys a data set. It's all candy related. We'd love to see what you guys can build, what you guys have. You can sign up on our website, Vizlib. If you just look up Vizlib, the Sweetest App Challenge or Candy Challenge, you'll see this. And yeah, we're excited. The prizes are candy, right, Joe?
Candy. Jane, you don't talk about the backstory to this. I think since you started, you always have a bowl of candy somewhere around you.
Oh my
and
God.
You've been researching this and just talking about candy for so long. I was like, you should make a candy database. And so you've been meticulously researching candy, asking everybody. You went through the list, and I think you had everybody's favorite candies covered at Vizlib. But I wonder if my guess is that you already have it covered. But if people want to type in any of the candies that they love, sweets, treats, what's your favorite candy type of thing, I'm curious if you haven't heard of something. Like try to stump Jane on some piece of candy. If it's a really obscure one, maybe. If it's only available in a single country, that's kind of challenging.
Yeah.
But if there's a piece of candy out there, Jane's probably seen it. So yeah, we had fun kind of coming up with this, but it's all your brainchild, and we'll get to go to a grocery store and pick out some of the best treats, including, what was that brand you found that does those like little, they look like other meals, like a little burger, a sushi plate.
One of my favorite candy brands, ep40, guys. If you haven't had, they have like, it's like Krabby Patties, but it's better than Krabby Patties. It's one of my favorite candy brands.
Okay. So they have the full month of August, right, to build something with Qlik and Vizlib. And I'm really excited to see what people submit. Yes,
we're gonna, it ends at the end of August, and then we will be announcing winners. I think there'll be 3 winners between September 6th and September 10th. So stay tuned.
Nice. Is there a secret formula? I don't know, like a bunch of people at Vizlib will get to judge the results, right? I imagine, though, that you'll get the final say, Jane. Do you have any, like, what's a little hook, a hint for the people that are here? What do you want to see, you think, in a Sweetest App challenge?
Oh, that's interesting. Maybe something we're going to show today. You know what? I'm not going to give it away, but I think you'll see my enthusiasm come through while we share what we're going to do today.
I could go out on a ledge and say, yeah, something with KPI Designer should likely be in it, just because people can get pretty wild and crazy with it.
Yeah, you can get really crazy.
Awesome. Thanks for that. We'll swap over. I wanted to show, where the KPI Designer lives. It's part of the Vizlib library, which is a set of 25 and growing visualizations. And you'll see all kinds of purpose-built charts like heat maps, buttons, UI components. But the one we're talking about today, I always get lost. There it is, the KPI Designer. So I have a couple tabs open because we'll go to some other things. And, there's a variety of things. When you think KPI, if you've used Qlik for a while, KPI is a big number on the screen in some other, oh, that's fun. Oh, there we go. Our server is being awesome while I'm streaming. A KPI is usually like a BAN. I hear it called a big ass number, is what some of the communities call it. But it's a number. It's some text, some context. Maybe it has an indicator, but that's about it. That's usually what people think about a KPI. So what we wanted to do was give people the ability to build these types of purpose-built KPIs and have more control over the look and feel. In the case of these, there's actually a few on the screen. This like marketing spend per year has, of course, the numbers. It has the target. It has an indicator. It also has a visualization. It has the bar chart kind of showing us over time. We can even put in links and buttons and different actions But this is all one object. And that was the thing that I was always trying to do early days with Qlik, was create very dense dashboards that have a lot of visual information, maybe take you through a particular workflow. But as I hit edit here, you see really there's just 4 components on the screen. Everything is baked into these KPI Designer objects. They're responsive to the screen as well. So as I make them a little bit smaller or bigger, we have that control over the look and feel, having buttons, charts, text. The nice part is everything is a layer. So if you're used to coming from like a ClickView world, or maybe you use other BI tools where you can just stack things on top of each other, it's very different than the grid interface in Qlik Sense, where the smallest grid you can make is one little grid, and that's why you have to have tons of objects to create some really visually interesting things. So here it's like a photo editing tool, and I have 7 layers. Each layer could be a different object and have control over like the trend that's here. Is the bar chart. It's just kind of fake data, but if I wanted to change the color of the bar, I could use a code, or I could put in an expression and calculate it. So it's going to go through and change this particular information up. But giving you all the control over every single layer, as much as you would in any other individual visualization, is kind of fun. So I do spend a fair bit of time, building out KPI Designer visualizations. Luckily, what we do, and we have a big team that does this, they bake in, I should have grabbed this one. Can all library extensions be used within? Yes. Actually, I'll show you what types of layers you can do. So from some of the built-in ones, text like the big numbers, icons and indicators, we give you a whole library. You can have a full image, which Jane and I use quite a bit.
Yes, we do.
Some examples of that one, right?
And you can put in a saved image or a URL if you want to throw in an image.
So it could be like a dynamic image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can put a GIF in there too. GIF or GIF.
GIF.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know.
That's how I say it too.
I'll fight somebody about that. That question, like, can you put all of the things in the layer? We actually give this handy shortcut. Use with caution, of course, but when you click the master item visualization, it allows you to choose from anything in the application that's been saved as a master visualization. So that's every, I'm pretty sure it's every visualization we have, plus all the native visualizations in Qlik. Or if you happen to have other things that you've built, you can put them in there. So it's not the entire library, Liren's saying, but it's most of them. I'm not sure which ones, but I haven't really ever run into the issue where there's something I wanted in here that we couldn't do.
Yeah, I would imagine like a finance report you couldn't throw in there, but also, why would you?
We've seen all kinds of things. People have recreated tables with using the line object and text and having hundreds of layers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go on a limb and say it's not recommended because it has to draw each one of those objects. And if they have conditions, our product managers actually just had a webinar on it, and they're like, here's a tip. Don't do 900 layers in one KPI object that all have conditions. You're just going to have a bad time. So, use your judgment here, but you can build anything. It's like ClickView in a box. You can put whatever you want in there. Some of the other fun ones, icon bar, actually. So this is what it's set to right now. This one's kind of fun, and maybe we'll go through and build some of these, but you tell it like how many icons you want. So if you want 100 people and set the progress, which you can calculate from something else, it calculated there's 50 people out of the 100. Or we do things like 45, and it'll drop the numbers that it paints. And you have complete control over that. That helps you build like infographics. I see a lot of that where people have like the icon of how many things and they color in a certain number. The icon layer allows you to do that, or icon bar. So that's a fun one to play around with, which I'm sure we have other examples of. The one other thing I'll mention is, we're building this. We put a lot of thought into these. Sometimes we build them really quickly, but if we really like them, we'll add them as templates. So when you start with a lot of Vizlib stuff, we bake in templates for many of our visualizations. So these have been, kind of our tried and true. There's lots of financial ones because it's KPIs, but we also built some other ones. So you can come in here. You can start with some of these, like that icon bar is in here for these brands where it kind of like fills up the logo, which is actually kind of fun. Viz tips and different things we've showed in the past. And just, start with one of these. So you click on the template, it'll put in all of the layers that'll kind of match in example data. And then all you have to do is come in here and say, I want this bar chart to actually have a calculation instead of just a raw number. It's going to be, equal to the sum of how many views we had on YouTube. And that's just going to shortcut you to building really nice visualizations. But we don't just ship the templates to you. You can also make your own. So you made a bunch of changes here. You could save it. And then I've been filling out mine. I need to be better and actually share this with the team and with Vizlib in general, but I'll fill out my KPI designers, which we'll come to a few of these. What's nice is I can have my administrator save this and publish it, and then it's available for everybody in Vizlib or everybody in your company. It's each company has their own kind of templates. They can come through. So somebody had published this blue progress bar for all of us to be able to use. Jane, you and Cody and I have to maybe start saving these off and sharing and being good sharers and save and publish them for other people.
Yeah, definitely. I've got a big KPI that I could probably share that will fill up a screen.
Awesome. Okay, we can come back to this as necessary, but how did we get to something like this? Do you want to take folks through like the tools that we use or the thought process?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing or you can take my screen off if you want. There we go.
Boom. So we have this tool called Miro, which we love. This is not sponsored, by the way. We just genuinely use this tool. We like this tool.
If they want to sponsor us, that'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah, Miro, if anyone from Miro is watching, you know where to find us. But we do like to use this tool. We get inspiration from random places. I know I'm a Reddit lurker, so I like to lurk on things like Data is Beautiful. They have a lot of random like cool guides. That's also a really good subreddit. If you guys are ever on Reddit, don't go on. It's a rabbit hole. Once you're in, it's hard to get out. Sometimes it can be fun though. Yeah. But we go there. I think Pinterest is great.
I use Pinterest a lot, definitely.
Yeah, it's not just for interior designing.
Or recipes.
Or recipes. Use it for data inspiration. And then we just throw it all in Miro. And the great thing is if you have a team in here, I promise you guys, this is not sponsored. We just like this product. But you can click on someone's name, and then while they're zooming in and out, you'll just follow their mouse. So it basically kind of shares what they're saying with you. It's like a screen share, but just easy. All you need to do is click on their icon, and you can see where they're going and just follow where their mouse is.
So yeah, show them like we've decided we're going to build things for certain industries. So we kind of made this little map with these sticky notes. If you zoom in like financial services right at the top, kind of mapped out. These are the priority of things. So we collaboratively build this Miro board and then just throw a bunch of screenshots of things that we found interesting and make notes. So it has actually really helped us to collaborate a lot. We don't do a lot of emails. Cody was mentioning that the other day. He's like, I don't wake up and have like 100 emails anymore. We use a lot of Slack, of course, but Miro's like, we just throw our idea boards together. So it's kind of like a big shared Pinterest board, right?
Yeah, it is. It's like a Pinterest board, but you can use it parallel to when someone else is using it. So it's great. You can see everything live. I think it's very helpful. So we have this one. This is for our team, the Industry Solutions Team. We'll throw stuff on here. But also we've got this other one, KPI and infographics. So this is dedicated to the KPI designer. These are all things related that looks like the KPI designer. Anything that we could build in the KPI designer that we're dreaming of building, we can all throw in here. Yeah. We'll just get inspiration. I love these infographic looking things. hint, hint for the candy challenge. I think these are all, these look super nice. And I'm a really big fan of this. This was surprising.
That one was, I don't know who put that in there, but yeah, every time I look at the board, I'm like, are we going to make that? Okay, maybe.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, you did share this again recently too. I think people lie. This is 6.3% of males never wash their hands when they go to the bathroom,
I
to
think
the restroom, and then 8.3 never. I actually think it's way higher.
Okay, I think the only thing this says is that 1, people lie. 2, men lie more than women.
I'll take ownership of that for
I
sure.
think that's what this data is telling us.
That's a funny one. I don't know where they get the data from. I mean, it's just surveys or something. But yeah. So Miro. Sometimes we use, other tools that we sometimes use because we just want to mock up something quick. Do a lot of hand-drawn notes, right? Take a picture, share it.
Yeah.
But I've seen people like mock up stuff in PowerPoint because it's, people are used to laying things out on a slide because we have to build slides all the time. And Canva, which is another like visual tool, which like all of our backgrounds and the entire outside of Appy Hour is all designed in Canva, which is just a really basic online photo editing tool. I think Miro and Canva are free as far as I know.
Yeah, they've got free. I mean, you can also pay for
versions,
different subscriptions, but like I don't even think you have to sign up for Canva. You can just go in and use it.
Yeah, and then when we want to get really fancy, our designers have, Photoshop, Illustrator, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We don't pay for that license. They do.
We're not very adept at that yet.
It's fine if I don't have to learn Illustrator. That's fine. Cool. So I'll hop over because I want to show, now that we have a few other KPIs and we've shown you kind of the basic, business friendly ones, let's try something else. If you want to share my screen again, Jane, I want to show something that was one of the first ones that I used the KPI Designer for. And that was getting inspiration from movies and video games and Pinterest and this thing for like when Iron Man puts his mask on, puts his helmet on, he has a whole heads up display that has visualizations. You can see like a missile is coming at him and it highlights it. And it's all just movie magic, right? And I'm like, I think I can make some of that with the KPI Designer. And so I went down that rabbit hole of like Reddit and Pinterest and found a bunch of different visualizations. And this is not just a screenshot by any means. When it comes up here, the whole left side is one KPI Designer. And it looks like this, what Jarvis is, and kind of like what is in Tony Stark's, I guess, chest plate. If there are people that know comic books, I probably murdered the names of all those things, but whatever that thing is called, you know what I'm talking about. So this is a bunch of layers. Again, it's not a screenshot. If I'm in Qlik and I, pick on a couple of the bar charts or different dimensions, everything on the screen is going to update. Again, it's a little slow because we are streaming. But you'll see it's responsive. So while this might not make sense to you and me, maybe like a Tony Stark would know what's going on with this crazy rose plot of different things. So let's take a look at this as well.
It's called the Arc Reactor.
Thank you. I would have never gotten that.
Me neither.
I might watch the movies, but my attention span is very limited, probably because I drink so much coffee. So I just think it's cool, and then I move on and learn something else. So I'm a bad comic book fan.
Oh, that's okay. I didn't even know Tony Stark was Iron Man. It's funny because I was talking to the other Joe, and then he's like, "Can you click on the Tony Stark app?" And I was like, "I don't know what app this is." So I was going through each app, and he was like, "No, the Tony Stark app." And I just kept clicking through because I didn't know who Tony Stark was.
That's okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm learning. We all learn from each other, so that's great. So I got 19 layers going on, including the animated GIF. for Jarvis that's in the background. It's, as I said, if I wanted to move something around, I just drag my mouse. I can realign this stuff and I can lay it out in any way that I want. So maybe this like 24K and where it says targets, I like hold my mouse too soon, is what you traditionally think of a KPI. The whole thing is built with the KPI designer. So it can have multiple, I guess, KPIs and give us bullet plots and random donut charts and things to get to, I think, something that you would truly only see in a movie is now possible with this. So this is where somebody's like, can you get creative? I just have a ton of fun. Just like, what can I layer? What can I change the opacity on? What background image might I need? And come up with something like this. So I'm curious, there's a good number of folks on the line. Like, is there any other movie we should look to? Doesn't have to be superhero movie. There's so many of those anyhow. But some movie that has some interesting like graphical user interface that's in the movie. It's a big part of it that we should try to recreate. I don't know if we'll do it today because usually we have to go like search the movie properties and try to get images that are not going to get us in copyright trouble. But we can spend some time on this and maybe create another fun application. Jane, do you have any like movies that come to mind for you that you're like, oh yeah, I would like to build like the interface for that in Qlik?
Weirdly enough, the first thing I thought of was Jurassic Park, and
Yeah,
maybe we can do something with all the dinosaurs.
the dinosaurs or like the buildings montage, like when they're doing all the security stuff.
Okay, here's a secret. I've never actually seen Jurassic Park.
No, you suggested it, but you
Guys,
haven't
I
seen it.
don't like movies. This isn't because of Jurassic Park. I just don't like watching movies because I think I like long term. I know what, right? I like really long things. I like to binge watch, and movies just aren't, unless there's like thousands of them. I just
We'll
don't
open
get
it up to TV shows too. Is there some like maybe somewhat futuristic TV show or something, and you're like, oh, we could do that?
Maybe Supernatural.
Supernatural. Okay. Somebody, Andy said Animal House. I don't understand what we would even build with it, but it'd be fun to have John Belushi in there. Again, probably a movie you haven't seen, Jane.
No, but not because of that it's like older. It's because I do not watch movies.
Fair enough. Okay. Firefly, Star Trek. Oh, Firefly would be kind of cool. We have like the spaceships and the different like interfaces they have, pretty futuristic. Star Trek. I'm not really a Star Trek fan. Sorry if there are people out there. I'll wear like a Data t-shirt and a logo, but I don't know what people are talking about. So,
oh, maybe Top Gun. Do they ever show the like cockpit in Top Gun?
Yeah, definitely. There's so many like military movies. We could probably build something like that. What's this last one? Are we able to get people Vizlib verified or certified like we can in Power BI and Qlik? Like a certification? Actually, maybe spilling the beans if Cody's even watching. Cody's was dreaming something up like that, where you have to meet certain checkpoints, but then we'll give you a nice certificate, something for LinkedIn, all that stuff. We're going to use that. Yeah, I like that idea. Ooh, Jane, yay or nay? Total Recall.
Guys, I don't even know what this movie is. I've heard of it, but I couldn't tell you anything about it.
The previous governor of California and world's strongest man for many years from Austria was in this movie.
Is it similar to like Terminator?
Yes.
Okay. Is it one of the Terminators?
No, but very similar properties came around on the time. I think they were banking on Arnold being like hugely famous. Star Wars, yeah, we have to build some Star Wars apps. I have one with a Baby Yoda somewhere. I gotta find it. Vizlib certified. Mission Impossible 4. It's very specific. I'll have to look that one up. It doesn't jump to mind what's in it, Zach. Oh, you shared like I can't click on that, but creative blog. We'll save that and come back to it. This is the way. From The Mandalorian. Ah, nice. Yeah. We're going to get in trouble with Disney at some point. I'm surprised we haven't already with the Marvel stuff. So we'll see. Okay, enough about this. Do you want to show, kind of bring it back to reality? One that was, I think, one of the first apps you worked on, right?
Yeah. So I want to show people kind of, we've got more things, really cool things. But first, I want to ground some people. You saw what it can do, and you saw some like really nice, cool looking KPI designers, but you can't always use that in your dashboards. It's probably not too helpful. I think something that I think is helpful is this is right here. This is a normal KPI. So this is just what you said, a big ass number with a little title telling you what that BAN is. But then I think you can get creative with it. And just, you can have more details and you can kind of say more about what that number means. It's no longer just a number that might change. You can add some context to it. So these are all built with the KPI designer. Each one of these blocks, these are all each KPI designers. You can build this by making a chart, making a line that's longer in the distance, and then you can change the length of that line depending on what your measure is. So that is how I built the MRR. And then for total revenue, there's a line chart in the KPI designer that you can just throw in. For this one, the bar chart,
I like that one. This
is actually a master item. And so you can color the master item how you want. You can do what you want in the bar chart and then save it as a master item, and then throw it in the KPI designer, and it will just give you exactly what you want. Why do we do this? You might be asking. Well, we did cover this last week, but something really cool is that you can turn them into Viz tips. So you see this table, it's a boring table, whatever. No, wait, what's that? It's a Viz tip. So what you can do is you can have dynamic Viz tips made with the KPI designer. I think.
Say it again. I missed it.
You can have, sorry, what?
No, yeah, you said the word. You led up to it, and I wasn't ready. You have to say what it is again.
Viz tips.
There we go.
Yeah.
I was like, I couldn't find it. Okay.
Viz tips.
Viz tips. Dang it. Go.
So I think that's one of the cool things about the KPI designer is that you can add context to your data. You can give it more depth, and you can showcase things that you normally can't with just a normal KPI.
Right. I mean, to build that, and we had it as like a little bit of a mock-up. We're like, let's see what we can do with just the built-in charts and with some of the Vizlib stuff. And it ended up being like, we'd need so much more space to stack in all of these charts and have the text and information.
Right.
And it was either just really big numbers, we missed the context, you'd have to scroll to see bar charts.
Or have multiple sheets, if you want it all condensed onto one sheet. I don't think this looks cluttered. I think this is easy to digest, and I think it definitely gives you more information, which is always helpful.
And then what do you think about this question? Can we do data comparison in Vizlib? For example, the data mismatch between two data sets.
I think that's a Qlik question. That's more.
I think it's a yes, absolutely, but not specific to Vizlib, right? It is just what Qlik does.
Mm-hmm.
So data mismatch. So.
Oh, what you can use is write back. Oh, sorry, guys. You can use write back, and I've definitely data cleansed with write back. If there's, like a misspelled name, or maybe like you might be like Joe sometimes, and then you might be Joseph in other data sets. You can easily clean that up so that your name's always succinct, or not succinct, the same.
Yeah, and if I think it's Desi India. If you have a follow-up to that, if that's what you mean, like the data doesn't connect because it's spelled differently or it's mismatched that way, we can use write back to connect it, to like reconnect the data. That's a good question. We could do something on write back in the future.
Yeah.
Dedicate some sessions to it, like data cleansing. That would be somewhat boring, but we can make it fun.
Yeah, we can make anything fun. Even the finance report, which we have something in stored in the future. So stay tuned for that. Okay. I hear we're planning a little trip. Isn't that right, Joe? With the finance report.
Everybody wants to go on trips these days.
Yeah.
Hankering to travel again.
Yeah, we're going to go on. We need to start financing and planning for a future trip. So we might do something with the finance report later on.
Wonderful. Okay, what about, I showed this one on the LinkedIn really quick as a teaser. I dug this up yesterday. I've had it sitting around and I just republished it to our server. And this was another one where I was sitting around and I was like, how do we really jazz it up? Let's make the Nintendo Switch the interface to Qlik, the interface to the analytics. And to do this before, I think I would have had to be like a web page developer, and we'd do it on a mashup. And you know, I'm not a mashup developer. I don't really use that technology. I don't know JavaScript as well as I probably should, even though I think I had a course in it in university and college. And my HTML skills are abysmal. But what I can do is find a nice image in the internet, which this is probably copyrighted. Oh, well. And then overlay other things on top of it because I can use simple photo editing tools. And that's really what I did here. But it isn't just an image stacked on top. I wired the buttons so that when you press them, it should change the visualizations. It's going to take me to another sheet effectively within the application. This one is actually like I started building this video game collection app of how many games I played out of all of the top games that are out there. The different buttons allow me to kind of navigate between things and can even make, I'm trying to find the one sheet. Here's the problem is, I don't know exactly what the buttons do. It's been a while. Oh, okay. Top ranked games. Were you aware that Pokemon is the most popular and sold game in the world of all time?
Is it because of Pokemon Go? Or is this just Pokemon? Are they different?
Pokemon Go is free, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is sales.
Oh, this is maybe because Pokemon's been around longer?
Yeah, and there's like 18 versions of it. It's not the cards, it's the actual like games on Nintendo systems and maybe mobile phones if you have to pay for some of them. But I don't think Pokemon Go is paid. People probably pay for it somehow. Yeah, I was surprised actually. I thought like I know Mario's been around forever and has a bunch of different games, but for Pokemon to be the top worldwide, pretty crazy. And then other things, GTA. Do you have a favorite game?
Oh, I'm a big Tetris fan. That's about it. I don't play too many games. I feel like I would really like maybe like Animal Crossing or like Sims. I'm not really into like what's it called, like first person shooter games. So I don't think I would like, I think Grand Theft Auto, is that what you do? Call of Duty. I tried World of Warcraft. I think that was a cool thing to do when I was in middle school, but I could not get into it.
Okay.
I would just walk around and then not do anything.
Neither.
And you can chat with your friends.
We the fun gaming group at Vizlib, which we participate in occasionally. I can only keep up when we do those like Among Us sessions on like Fridays. That I can get. You basically just use the arrows on your keyboard and click something.
Yeah.
Versus some of the more intense games where, like my brother has a dedicated machine for video gaming on the PC. It used to heat up our house. It's such a huge machine. I'm sure he's updated it, but yeah, not my cup of tea. But yeah, so I had fun kind of digging this out. This is the type of thing, and if we use other things in Vizlib, we could even turn off the entire top interface of Qlik, as much as people might not want to do that. You're still able to do that with all this technology, and it's at the end of the day, it's still Qlik Sense. And so you'll see it's one big KPI designer. I put this thing in the middle is actually a container. It's a Vizlib container, and I can conditionally hide or show which sheet within the application I want. And then you see I put these little overlays on the buttons so that when I press back and forth, it does an action. So the right button here is just an icon. I think I set the opacity somewhere to transparent. Visibility maybe. Yeah, it's in there. It's just basically a clear button. So I can still click it, but you don't see anything. And then the action is please set the variable for VWrite that I had created to be add 1 to whatever the current value is. So it increments it, and then left decrements it. So a little bit of coding, but very light, low code type of approach that we're going for here. And then different buttons, like you press this home button and I think it clears everything. I think that's what I did. Selection in a field. Oh, it changes the developer to Nintendo only. So it actually makes a selection in the app. So you can put buttons on anything. It could be an image. It could be they have to click a piece of text and it does something in the app. That's really where I think the KPI designer is like endless in what you can do, because you can drive different actions. So I know I don't even remember, Jane, if I showed you this one before you worked on your app that you're going to show in a little bit.
You did briefly, but I think you've made updates. I actually just thought of a really good interface. We could do, have you seen In and Out or Inside Out? Inside Out.
Where, the Pixar movie?
Yeah, where they're controlling like the emotions. There's like that huge interface where you can click things and then you can view that big screen. I think we can do something with that. So
the little people along the bottom.
Yeah. And they like,
and they press things, and then, sales goes down and like the angry guy.
Yeah.
just lights on fire. Yeah, I'll leave that one to you. We can have fun with that. So we've done some creative things. Jane, you took this and you built something based on, I think, somehow a lot of your apps have to do with food. Have you realized that?
Interesting. What does that say about me?
I don't know. If you want to, I for some reason can't stop sharing, or I can't find where my mouse is, so you can drop mine out. There we go.
Okay, so this has to do with food again. It's a burger menu. I really like burgers, and fries and food. I just like food in general. But the cool thing about this is everything is interactive. I really like infographic looking things. I think they look nice. And I like them. The problem with infographics is that it's usually just one screen. You can't really click around. Yeah, it's not static. You can't do much with it. But what I like about this is that you can. It's movable. You can see what's going on. You want to see, how much. This is talking about greenhouse gases. And if you want to see how much greenhouse gases it take to produce beer, it's 1.1 GHG per kilogram. So, but what?
So wait, which one is better?
Oh, beer is definitely better. Look at coffee's horrible.
Horrible for greenhouse gases.
Yes.
Did you ever figure out it's why? Like, I know it takes a lot of water to grow it, but that doesn't necessarily.
There's also a lot of
gases.
Transportation involved.
Right.
Especially to get to here, there's a lot of transportation involved, and a lot of deforestation. There's a lot of deforestation happening because of coffee.
So you should drink local. Is really everything that you can get. If you can get, like, if you have a winery near you, it's not going to have to be transported very far. So that's better than. But
actually, so transportation takes a tiny bit. It's a very small portion of what, the grand scheme of things. It's actually deforestation plays a large role, even in meat products, because in order to clear, they burned a lot of the Amazon to clear away for more farms. So that plays a bigger role. You don't necessarily have to eat local, but definitely check where your food's coming from. Make sure it's, equally sourced. Make sure your fish is coming from a good place. It's not coming from somewhere that's being overfished. I know people love salmon, but sometimes like farm farmed salmon might be better than the ocean because the oceans are getting overfished. There's so many issues. We can go on for days talking about this. We could probably do a session just on global warming and
we should.
Yeah.
Because you built this for Earth Day, right?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we were like trying to convince people that we're building a burger app for Earth Day, and they're like, I don't get it. But it's the receipt thing that you got going on, that it's not the price, it's the greenhouse gas emissions.
It is. So this
from
is
those items. So it's very informative.
It's the bun. So you look at the bun, and then you can see here that's the bar chart, and it just looks nice. I didn't add too many crazy things. I just thought it looked cool. And then you can see, okay, the buns, here are all the different choices for buns. Rice is actually not very eco-friendly. Meal, like cornmeal, that's really good for the environment. Have more cornmeal buns. You're looking at your toppings. Here are all the different toppings.
No, cheese.
I know,
I'm in Wisconsin,
right?
so maybe I'll drink more beer because that's better than the coffee, but the cheese is kind of near the top. That's a bummer.
Yeah. It's because of the cows. Cows release a lot of methane, which is not good. But I think
have you had
the most
alternative, like non-dairy cheeses, they're terrible.
This
is a really hard thing for me, Jane.
Have you been to Yard House before?
No. What's Yard House?
I don't know if you guys have that. So they have it up in Boston. They have a vegan burger with a cheese on it, and it's not horrible. I don't mind it. It doesn't taste as sharp, but it's not the worst.
The Beyond Meats, though, those things, the ones they make with beets or whatever, the fake blood,
yeah,
they're actually very good. I do like those. It's the cheese that's like weird. I don't think I could be. I could try to be vegan for a little while, but there would be definitely things that I would miss.
Well, so the thing about cheese is, you have a cow, you can milk them forever. You can make cheese with them for as long as they live. But with cows, you kill them. Once you get their meat, that's it. That's the only thing they produce. So cutting down on your meat would actually be so much better for the environment than cutting down on cheese.
Somebody's
what?
BJ's like, wait a second. Yeah, we're kind of off on a tangent, but see what data can do. It can drive conversations. I love it.
Yeah, and like looking here, look at how much beef produces. Look at how much greenhouse gas beef produces compared to poultry. I mean, if everyone just ate just changing it out.
Beyond Meat is not plastic, Liren.
They've gotten a lot better.
Maybe, yeah. We get it here, and it's pretty good. Even the restaurants around here serve it. Maybe it's the way you're preparing it, but I haven't had the meat that Liren makes, so we're making him hungry. That's funny. Yeah, so this app, we haven't published this one yet.
No, it's not published.
We have a batch, I think, like we did the last few. We'll get this one. I think that Tony Stark, who is Iron Man, I'll just say it like that so you can remember. We'll get that one published, although I think it is out there. The video game one I know I haven't published yet, so we'll do that. Are there others that people want us to create? We got a couple of good like movie, TV shows, and things like that. But are there other apps that perhaps you've seen that we should build and release? Or
is there any data that you might not have time to dig into that you'd want to see something dug into? We'd love to do that. I mean, we'd love to be creative, kind of maybe take apart some data sets. So yeah, if you guys have data sets that you want to see pulled apart, send them to us. We'd be happy to check them out.
Perfect. We still got a little bit of time. Maybe I'll show one more. And then kind of build one with the KPI Designer. This one's kind of fun, and I should always highlight that. Here we go. Tampa Bay won the Stanley Cup yet again in hockey. And Cody built an Olympics app recently. Like we were on a track of a bit of different sports and things, but I played around with this. So in the top corner I could have just had like a very basic score. And I'm like, I really like the way sports channels will put like the lower thirds and different sports scores, and some are really good and others are terrible. NHL is actually very good, and their website has it look like this, where it's kind of faded across, and has some more information that's not like this shot's 34 shots on goal. So Tampa Bay won this particular game against Montreal, who only had 22 shots on goal. So in a normal KPI, you can have the number, but you usually have like a comparison number, and this one's a completely different metric, and wanted to put it all together. So I need to be on this side so I can hit edit. There we go. Grab some stuff. Again, thank you, NHL, for letting us use logos from teams. I haven't received a cease and desist letter yet. Multiple layers. The way I did the fade was, initially I just, I have a couple different boxes here. I forget exactly which one is which, but let's say it's team 1 points. This is the text box representing just the big 1. So that one's not it. That is actually their points. T2 points, logo, name. One of these is the box that's kind of behind it. And that might be what it is, where I put a background that's blue or red, and I can change it by the team. But I used another image that I found that's here. That's it, actually just like a transparent image. I'm going to try to open it up in the browser. That puts this like gradient effect on it. Although if folks are watching, like our product managers, I'd really love to have just a gradient button on it on any image, because I want to fade it in a certain way. You know how you can do that on photo editing software?
Yeah.
But here I can just grab this, and it's just like white to black, and overlaid it on top of those boxes to give that effect that I saw on the website. I can do a little bit more work on it and then put their logos. The fun part is it is dynamic. So I was doing this and updating it, much like Cody was doing with the PGA Tour and the NBA finals. We could say if Montreal just decided, oh, we're just going to change the color of our logo to green, we'll slap shot to write it back. It should change that box now and put the overlay as a green color. So I was doing this and changing the teams, and I just swap out their logo with that URL that we're talking about can be dynamic. And the KPI is just now this, like, I don't have to touch it again. I just change out these things in the data effectively, or in the write back table, and it completely changes that KPI. So this is another one. I'll just make it as a template. We'll share. And also the app is published. So it's always good for folks, if you're following along with Appy Hour, as we do more of these. Sometimes we build stuff on the fly from scratch, right?
Yeah.
And we'll go to Vizlib. I should just have this saved. You don't need to see all my bookmarks for Vizlib. There's tons. At the Vizlib site, just go to demo apps. Nearly everything we do on Appy Hour, we'll try to post, as long as it makes sense. Sometimes we go down a rabbit hole and it didn't work out as well as we'd hoped, but that's kind of the live side of it. So that Stanley Cup one with the KPIs there, there's Olympics, Jane, your UFO one, and Friends are here. So these are all Qlik Sense apps people can download for free, just load up and, take them apart. I think we're kind of building on things, and we work with partners and customers that sometimes share apps, and we just kind of learning from each other. So that's the intent of these sessions too, is to teach you a little bit about the behind the scenes of what we do and the fun that we have.
Yeah, yep. And get some ideas too. And we
right.
do like hearing suggestions that you guys have.
Yeah, this was a good one. There was lots of stuff. We'll have to go back, and we're just going to have to go watch some movies and TV shows now and research.
Yeah, part of the job.
Right. Cool. Anything else you want to remind people? The candy challenge starts.
Yeah. So
now, right?
It's live. So people who are just joining now, we have a new candy challenge. So create an app. We're going to provide you a data set. It's all related to candy. It goes on for the whole month of August. So at the end of August is when it's due. You're going to send it to me. It's all in the email once you sign up, which you can sign up on our website quite easily. You can just look up the Sweetest App Challenge, or I want to say you can go into events in our.
I'll add that back in.
Yep. So this is it. The Sweetest App Challenge. It should be the resources and events. You'll find this here. The prizes are candy. We'll have 3 winners, and we'll send you a whole lot of candy. So yeah, we're excited to see what you have. There are some rules. It's all on our website, but it's pretty lax. We just want to see what you've got. And yeah, all you need to do is add 3 Vizlib components in there, and that's about it.
Yeah, have fun with it. All the data is there. I think we're going to see a variety of things. In addition to, nice, that's a lot of emojis. In addition to us sending like the top 3 baskets of treats and sweets, probably not chocolate to lightly melt. It's still the summer here. We'll find some good stuff. We'll also, we need to talk about this, but we could probably publish them on the website as well. And so people could download your work. Just kind of cool to get your name out there, and your cool designs for what a candy treat app could look like. So it's going to be fun.
Maybe we didn't even talk about this, but maybe even bring some people on here to talk about their apps.
Totally.
And we can dig into that. You can show off your skills, tell us like your thinking, what goes into building an app. We'd love to see kind of the background in that too.
Perfect. All right. I think that's it. We covered quite a bit of ground, so that was awesome. Anything we shared, we'll get some links out to folks or let you download things. But yeah, great job, Jane. That was awesome.
Thanks for joining. Cheers.
Yeah, your orange juice looks so weird.
I think it's because my background's green. It makes everything else look kind of green.
It's like
look like
drink
Belinda.
Or something like that. All right, take care. Talk to you later.
All right, bye. Bye, guys.